Those who spend all of their money, time in the club scene and the bar scene are literally doing nothing with their lives. But your gut instinct is what you're gonna have to trust a little bit more, because that is going to be the key to happiness. Wholesome activities equals wholesome people. Do you guys call them jammies? My mom called them jammies my whole life, and now I feel kind of silly. I love that saying, we have the same hours in the day as Beyonce, even though honestly, we don't even know what Beyonce does during the day. Hello everyone, welcome back for another video. So this past week I've been so busy, and I decided last week to start doing consults and advice giving tips via Instagram. So I actually was booked last week and this week. I'm talking fully booked with consults from you guys, and I'm just so shook. Like, I wasn't expecting it, and it was just something that came out of the blue, and I was just excited to try something new, see how it goes, because I give advice to you guys here on YouTube, obviously for free, and I wasn't really expecting to book that many consults because I obviously was charging for my time, and it ended up being so incredible. And this video was actually inspired from my consults because, surprisingly enough, I've spoken to almost 60 of you guys, and a lot of you guys have the same types of issues and concerns and questions in regards to just yourself. And I wanted to do an entire video dedicated to how to find yourself in your 20s, step by step, what I did. Being that I'm almost 26, I've learned a lot. I'm finally over the hump, past my mid-20s. I'm going to be now entering my late 20s, and I'm really excited to share with you guys what I learned and how I was able to cultivate my dream life and create it from scratch with a little bit more grace and humility and just all of that. So we're gonna talk about that today, and I think it will help a lot of you guys out. I also wanted to say that if you wanna consult with me, you guys are gonna have to go follow me on Instagram, because that's kind of where I'm doing them right now until I figure out how to build a website and figure out better ways to speak with you guys. But just stay around for this video. I think you guys are really gonna like it. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you like these types of videos from me. I've been loving like the half up, half down vibe. The only thing about today that I'm like, oh my God, my boobs look huge in this dress because it's a corset dress, but honestly, I'm digging it. It's cute, it's sexy. So yeah, it's so freaking hot in Jersey today, guys. I'm looking outside in my backyard right now, and it's just gorgeous. Right as soon as this video is done, I'm probably gonna sit outside because it's that beautiful. I also started 75 Hard. I don't know if you guys know that, but it's like this insane, crazy challenge where you work out twice a day, 45 minutes, one outside, one inside. You have to drink a gallon of water. You have to read 10 pages of book, no alcohol. You have to follow some sort of diet. That I'm not really doing. I'm not following a diet because I don't really believe in diets. I'm just eating really healthy and vegetarian, of course. And shout out to Green Chef for sponsoring today's video. And yeah, I don't know if I missed anything. Oh, I need to take a progress picture every day. It's insane. I'm on day 3 right now. I already want to quit, but I'm not going to. I really want to stick to it, but yeah, it's hard to manage. Consults, 75 Hard, filming, but we are here. I'm also going to film an insane perfume video for you guys tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. I'll probably post it on Sunday, but yeah, guys, let's get into today's video. I'm so excited to talk to you guys about it, and yeah, let's get into it. Another week, another Green Chef meal. I am so excited for you guys to see what I made for dinner tonight. It was so delicious, and I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about Green Chef as well, because I think that you guys would really love it if you haven't tried it already. So Green Chef is a CCOF certified organic meal kit company, and it offers delicious dinners for anybody's lifestyle, whether that's keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, fast and fit, Mediterranean, and gluten-free. You're going to really elevate your weeknight dinners using their seasonal chef-crafted recipes and farm-fresh produce, which to me is super important. It's also sustainably sourced ingredients. Just a lot of really healthy, good ways to get your dinner sent to your home. You're going to be able to bring more flavors to your table with Green Chef's delicious, nutritious recipes. It's the #1 best meal kit for eating well, which I think is so awesome. I really love how I feel after eating each meal. It's something that just makes me feel super healthy, but I
I am still satisfied with my meal after I'm done, which is super important to me. I'm going to leave everything you guys need to know about Green Chef down below. You guys can use my code Haley60 to get 60% off plus free shipping if you go to greenchef.com for more details. And yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed that little segment. Don't forget to check out Green Chef. And thank you so much, Green Chef, for sponsoring today's video.
Okay, the first tip in finding yourself in your 20s, and this is so freaking important because it's the overall hub that you have to always go back to whenever you are trying to figure out if you're doing things right or wrong. First of all, that's not even a thing. Don't even start asking yourself, am I doing this right? Am I doing this wrong? Am I doing this the way I'm supposed to? No, do not do that. So the first tip is to give yourself the grace and the time to try new things. Something that I've learned in speaking with so many of you guys is you feel this sense of rushing to get your life in order. And when you are in your 20s, I can imagine, based off of the way that society has pressured people to have it all figured out, you might feel a little bit like you're late, like you're stuck. You feel like everybody's pressuring you to have it all figured out by 25. No. There are people still figuring it out in their 30s, in their 40s, in their 50s. I think what is really important to focus on right this second is trying new things. How do you know what is for you if you're not even trying things out? You must try new hobbies and create different routines for yourself and figuring out what is what. When you are trying to find yourself in your 20s, you are gonna have to start asking yourself those questions. Am I a morning person? Do I rather work out in the morning or the evening? Do I eat 3 meals a day? Am I someone who wants to go off and do a hobby of some sort or an activity outside? Am I an indoor person or an outdoor person? Do I like working for myself or do I like working for someone else? These are the questions you have to start asking yourself. Get your gut instinct feeling. I think a lot of the times we forget to trust our gut, and that is key. After speaking to so many of you guys, I can tell that a lot of you guys have the answers to what you really want, but there's someone somewhere kind of giving you a different level of guidance, which I respect. Parents, friends, and advisors will always give you the advice that they think is best for you, but your gut instinct is what you're gonna have to trust a little bit more, because that is going to be the key to happiness. So in finding yourself, you have to try a bunch of things out, see what really resonates with your style of living and what is your calling. I tried so many things prior to my life now, and I have a pretty good sense of the fact that I am a morning person. I am in fact a morning person. I love being awake in the morning, but I will say this, I like to clean at night. As weird as that is, I don't like picking up after myself in the morning. I like to get a million things done out of the home in the day. So I'll go to Starbucks the second I wake up, I'll run some errands, I'll do this and that and the third, I'll come home around the afternoon and get my work done and all of that. And then the evening is time for me to just be a homebody, and I like to clean. And this is going to be something that you're going to have to figure out as you go, depending on your lifestyle. So definitely give yourself the grace and the time to figure it out. That is going to be the #1 key in finding yourself for sure. Okay, the second thing in finding yourself in your 20s is stepping away, and hear me out, hear me out, hear me out, stepping away from the party scene and getting into more wholesome activities. What I mean by this is a lot of the times you are really struggling in your 20s to figure out who you are because you're spending all of your time and money in places that are distractions and not healthy for your growing process. So I'll meet people that are like 23, 24, 25, and they're still doing the same stuff they were doing when they were 20, 21, and 22. And it's a lot of drinking every night, or whenever they get off of work, they'll go out and have a drink. They'll party a lot. They'll be out in the backyard smoking weed with their buddies until 11 p.m. And as much as these things can be fun and exciting for a short time, to continuously do that late in your 20s is not going to help you in finding who you really are. Yes, these are activities that you like to enjoy, but they should not be the full basis of your life and routine. So I would suggest to cut it off. Like, I am giving you tough love because that is something that I really believe in. Like, I don't believe in people sugarcoating anything. Those who spend all of their money, time in the club scene and the bar scene are literally doing nothing with their lives. Like, I just don't believe that people who are always out all the time are really doing anything worth talking about. I have yet to meet them, unless they are literally the club promoter themselves. I don't really understand how you're able to go out Monday through Thursday, even on the weekends, and drink and party every night and get anything done. So it's time to start encouraging in your life wholesome activities. And let's just say you're struggling to meet a boyfriend or some great friends. This is also really great. Wholesome activities equals wholesome people. You will meet wholesome people doing wholesome activities, whether it's sipping and painting. Maybe you like to drink, but maybe this is a better way to do it and it's a little bit classier. Sip and paints, yoga, going into coffee shops and working there. Try to find things that are more wholesome and it will actually inspire you more. Sometimes we're going through mental blocks in life, and the mental blocks are because of the distractions that we are using to essentially maybe self-medicate and not actually want to focus. Because I do believe that if you are going out all the time, you are trying to run away from something, whether it's you running away from your actual self, your family, or even just growing up. Sometimes in order for us to grow up, we have to cut that off at the head, even if it's a little bit uncomfortable. So try to encourage yourself to do more wholesome activities, and maybe you'll find yourself more in that. I have met so many people that realized as of this year that they love working out, and it's because they joined a gym. That's a wholesome activity that is about mind, body, and soul, and I think it's so important to go to the gym and to make it a conscious effort to work out. And you find new things about yourself the more that you do things. How are you going to know who you are if you're doing nothing to figure out who she is? It's time to start actually putting yourself out there and getting that done. Another thing that I was talking about in my consulting sessions that really helped a lot of people that were going through a mental block was to do an exercise where they closed their eyes and envisioned their dream life. Now, this is another way to trust your gut instinct when you are going through the motions of life. A lot of the times, the things that we dream of and really want come from our childhood and come from things that we have always envisioned for ourselves. A lot of my life today was planned many years ago. I would sit in my room as a little girl playing with my Barbies and create my dream life through my Barbies, and I am starting to slowly become closer to that goal for myself. So an exercise that I would encourage for you guys to do is to close your eyes and imagine you're waking up, and what does your room look like? What jammies are you wearing? Do you guys call them jammies? My mom called them jammies my whole life, and now I feel kind of silly. What pajamas are you wearing? What does your room look like? When you walk out of your bedroom, what does your home look like? What does your routine look like? Like, have that in your head and then put it to paper. Of course, I really do believe in writing things down, because things being in your head will always stay in your head. I believe that if you don't put your mind to paper, it will just stay in your mind. So draw your dream life, essentially, is what I'm saying. Draw it. I don't care what it is. It can be down to your car, down to your dogs, what kind of dogs you have. You can even name them. It's better the more detailed and descriptive you actually get with this, because it's just going to make it more real. It's gonna feel like a real dream that is now reality. And this is going to be best for you finding yourself, because a lot of the times we kind of know what we want. We know what we want out of life. We know our dreams and our manifestations and honestly even our purpose, but we have a hard time actually creating it because we never really actually sat down, thought about it, and wrote it down. Sometimes it really just takes that planning, and I know for me, I'm a planner. I can't get anything done without a plan. So it just really takes you planning it out and seeing where it goes in order for you to really feel comfortable in the idea. So it's time to really sit down with yourself and figure out who you are. You might be a simpleton, or you might be someone who wants a lot, or a family, or you have this crazy dream to embrace so many different parts of yourself, and maybe you want to run a marathon. Like, it could be anything, and this will be you getting closer to your purpose and you getting closer to the version of yourself that you've always wanted to be. And it's just a matter of writing it down and figuring it out. Okay, the next thing to finding yourself in your 20s is better time management. I love that saying, we have the same hours in the day as Beyonce, even though honestly, we don't even know what Beyonce does during the day, but I still love this saying anyways. It's so freaking true, because when I really think about what has really halted my experiences in life, it was just the fact that I wasn't managing my time well. I was spending a lot of hours in the day doing nothing, and I literally mean nothing, whether it's aimlessly scrolling, whether it's, you know, watching TV, napping, eating, and not really prioritizing things that are going to help me in finding myself. It really is just about time management. So whether that's having work-life balance, a lot of you guys are working like crazy, you're not actually managing time for you, or it could be the opposite where you're doing too much lifing and not enough working. It could be either or it could just be that you're just not good at managing your time. So now it's time to hone in on that and to actually start thinking about what is next for you and how to create that time bubble to create it. And a lot of the times we're just struggling because we don't know how many hours in a day we really have to do things. Sometimes when I set timers, I find that it's best for me. So like when I clean, I like to set a timer. I'll say, okay, I'm gonna do like 1 hour cleaning sesh. I'll set the timer and I'll do it. Or if I'm working and I wanna map out a time in the day to work from like 2 to 4, I'll make sure I have that scheduled. And it really allows you to feel like you're getting the most out of your day. And when you're finding yourself, you actually do have to make time for it. It has to be an active thought in your head, and it's really just a matter of prioritizing you. And a lot of us struggle with that. A lot of us struggle with prioritizing ourselves. It's easier for us to be selfless, even if it's not productive, because a lot of times we're being selfless, but it's not productive. And that's an issue that we have. So we're not being selfless where it's helping us, it's selfless and it's going nowhere. So we have to start being selfish in a healthy way where we are prioritizing ourselves and making time to figure out what it is that we want out of life. And again, like I said earlier, give yourself the grace and the time to do it. It's not something that's gonna happen overnight. You're not gonna become, Miss USA tomorrow or the wife of the century or whatever it is that you're trying to get and the goal that you're trying to attain. You need to give it time, but better time management is gonna help you with it. Okay, something that's really crucial in figuring out how to find yourself is, and this might upset some people, but I'm gonna clarify so that it doesn't, because I hate upsetting people, is happiness over money. So, I have always been someone who knew that money was important. I have 2 pretty decently wealthy parents, and a little background story about my life in particular, for those who don't already know this, is I grew up in a very weird way where when I was young, my mom was a single parent and we didn't have a lot. Then we kind of went up into like the middle class for a long time and then upper middle class. And when I became a teenager was when my parents became very wealthy because my mom remarried. She was going to school to get her degree in higher education. And essentially what ended up happening was I became a rich kid, as some would call it, in my teen years. So I was able to really experience the difference of life where we didn't have a lot, then we had a good amount, and then we had a lot. And I was able to really feel out what that felt like. And something that I did notice, and that's why I'm gonna say this very, very, very importantly, is yes, money does bring happiness to a degree. It does, especially if you don't have money. I don't like when people say money can't bring happiness and you're telling that to someone who literally doesn't have any, and it's like, that's so foul to say because you don't understand their situation. So what I wanna say is the thing that we need to chase the most in life is happiness. Now, I'm not saying money's not important and money can't do that, but money will not be the answer to all of your prayers. So what I think is crucial is finding what makes you happy and then making money from that. And it's so, so, so important. A lot of us are grappling with who we are because we are trying to live for other people. And we also don't know who we are because we think that other people is who we are. As weird as that sounds. So what I mean by that is social media and living in society could affect who you are because you feel like things are being forced on you and you don't really know what it is that you want. So after creating that dream life for yourself, that is you and more of you, now it's time to focus on the happiness part. So what that means is chasing that feeling of happiness. A lot of the times, being content is happiness for people. Not everybody wants for more and more and more and more and more all the time. They just want to feel comfortable and content. So try to find that comfort within. And I really think that finding a comfortability is really the secret to a happy, healthy life, which means comfortable with your bills, comfortable with your life, comfortable with your work-life balance, comfortable with your self-care, comfortable with how your life is going, and try to find that for you. And it's going to make magic around you. It's going to make your life feel like you're living your own personal dreams, and it's just a beautiful thing. So I am super big on this, and it's really just about that. So finding what makes you happy is what you need to focus on, and it will transform other things around you that you didn't even realize. So for me, what makes me happy is doing what I do, right? I love doing what I do. But let's just say somebody were to tell me to talk about a topic that wasn't something that I cared about, and I had to do it like 3 times a week and film videos, I wouldn't like my job anymore, and I wouldn't be happy. Now, I could be making a lot of money doing it still, but I'm not happy. And for me, that is an unfulfilled life. So really strive for what makes you happy, whether that's a hobby or a passion turned career, whether that's spending more time with loved ones, whether that's catering to your own self-love and self-care a little bit more, whether that's getting an animal for emotional support. There could be so many things that you can actually get that will fulfill that. You just need to figure out what it is. Okay, the next thing of how to find yourself in your 20s is realizing that wanting something for yourself and executing it are 2 completely different things. We want a lot of things. We want the money, we want the house, we want the car, we want the life, we want the security, the safety, the career. It could go on and on and on. The man. But we're not actually executing anything to get it. And that is an issue. So when you are finding yourself and you're struggling to figure out who you are, maybe it's a huge part of the fact that you're not actually doing anything to actually get it. And that is big. I used to always say to myself, like, what is it really that you're struggling with? And I realized it was just like discipline, it was getting things done, it was procrastination. Like, it wasn't actually that I didn't like my life or that I couldn't have those things. Like, there was no disability present. I was able to actually, execute these things with no issue. It was my mental issue that wasn't allowing me to get it. So it's really just you executing your wants and desires, or else you're not any closer. You might think that thinking things brings you closer to your goal. It doesn't. It does nothing for you. It's nice to be self-aware, but what are you gonna do with your self-awareness? Like, for instance, this is a perfect example of somebody who's self-aware, but it doesn't mean anything. Somebody could say, I'm really mean when I'm drunk. Well, I appreciate the self-awareness, but are you gonna keep drinking? Or are you gonna fix it? Because being self-aware means nothing if there's no change with the awareness. So it's time for you to start wanting and desiring things and then executing the want and the desire. You will not be closer to finding yourself if you're not actually trying to find yourself. You can't just say you don't like something and then don't do anything to change it. It's the way the world works. I know it sucks. Like, I know sometimes we want to just go to sleep, wake up, and everything is perfect, but unfortunately that's just not how things go. But I will say this, and hopefully this brings some sort of peace and ease to your mind. It actually doesn't take as long as you think, and even if it does take long and it feels long in the moment, once you actually get the things that you have desired and the happiness that you've wanted, it's gonna feel like it took no time at all. That is something that I want to bring perspective on. And the last thing that I want to mention in finding yourself in your 20s is trusting yourself. Trusting yourself is key, and this kind of goes back to that gut instinct, but it's a little bit deeper than that. When we are trying to find ourselves and we are trusting everybody but ourselves, we eventually do things that don't mean anything to us, or they're just not what we want, and it's just not genuine. So when you trust yourself, you will start realizing that you're living for you, finally. And that will be you finding yourself and being closer to that, whether that's to finding yourself for love, finding yourself for career, finding yourself for you in general. It's just gonna be having to trust yourself more. Even if you trust yourself to make mistakes and bounce back, like, I don't think that trusting yourself means that you're always gonna make the right decisions and you're always gonna be perfect. No, but it's the ability to make those mistakes, allow them to happen, and then to say to yourself, and I trust that when I figure it out, I'll be out of it, and I'll move on, and I'll grow from the experience. And that is something that is so key in this experience in finding yourself. You are never gonna have all the answers in front of you, but it's just a matter of allowing yourself to eventually have them and utilize them properly. So you're gonna realize as you grow and as you get older that every year you're gonna be a little bit different. I know this year I'm so different than I was last year. I thought I knew everything, and then I just keep learning more. You'll never know everything. And somebody who is willing to be a student of life, somebody who is willing to constantly learn and evolve, is the best person ever, because they actually don't have it all figured out. I prefer someone who doesn't have it all figured out than someone who says that they do, because they're just a know-it-all. And it's just somebody who is not willing to ever really grow. And I don't want to be around someone who doesn't believe that there is more room to become better, because there always is. And we always will be becoming better if that's the goal and if that's something that we allow in our lives. Give yourself that talk where, yes, you can listen to others' opinions, but yours is the most valuable to you, and you will see that your life will unfold exactly how it's supposed to. Okay guys, that is the video for today on how to find yourself in your 20s. I know it's a really stressful topic. I know it's really stressful times, and a lot of the times it's frustrating and it's awkward to really tap into this, because you're wondering, why have you not found yourself yet? But you're not supposed to, and you're not always supposed to just have all the answers. So I think it's just a matter of allowing yourself to figure it out with time and implementing some of these tips I talked about today, and you will be definitely closer, I promise. So don't be too crazy on yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. It's okay. And it's just time to start honing in on that self-love and self-care and that inner work, so that you can figure it out. And in due time, you will see more about you and what you are willing to do and what you're not willing to do, and all of that later on. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to sound off down below in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye everyone.